Hello, I'm Ignat Solovey, Osee International User Community Liaison and moderator of Osee GoStream Duet user group. This video is the official presentation of Osee GoStream Duet Kit. Most of you, or maybe just many of you, know about Osee GoStream Duet Kit, an all-in-one flight case that includes the GoStream deck, the monitor, the fan, and some power options, and all in a convenient suitcase form. The Duet Kit is essentially the same, but with the Duet instead of the deck. Visually, they are, as you may see, almost the same, except that on the back we have a different positioning of inputs and also SDI inputs added. And when we are opening it, we see that the configuration is sort of mirrored. So that's the main visual difference. Practically, it's all the same. The Duet instead of the deck, the display that supports all refresh rates, and the fan, despite that the Duet has a built-in fan, but still the cooler the better. And all of that in form of a convenient flight case. As you may see, here we have cheese plates. The bottom cheese plate is very convenient for mounting the suitcase onto a tripod or just a light stand. And also a couple of side cheese plates. On the Duet Kit they are slightly different from those you may see on the deck kit, but that's of no consequence. Some of you seen my 2024 video where I disassembled the deck kit, this very same. And in this video I'm gonna to disassemble and then reassemble the Duet Kit. The purpose of that is to show you how it's built inside. This video is also sort of an instruction of how to mount your existing GoStream Duet into a suitcase that you may purchase separately, and that includes the monitor, the fan, and everything that's in the suitcase, including those power options, of which a bit later. So here we have our 10 screws, 2 that hold the deck here and 8 that hold the main plate that covers all the intestines of the kit. First things first, we are removing the SD card, and you may notice that it's repositioned compared to the deck. On the deck it was here, and on the Duet it is here. This, by the way, is one of the recommended cards, verified and proven. So let's start. The screwdriver you need is T8 hex, but also you may use one of these handy toolkits, which I, by the way, highly recommend to keep in your pocket at all times. So I think the screwdriver is a bit more convenient. And let's not lose the screws. This is, by the way, the first time I'm opening this Duet Kit. I did not rehearse anything, so I'm in the same position as you. This thing, by the way, is just a piece of metal that props the display, the lid, from accidental closure. Given that displays are pretty brittle and tender creatures, that's very handy. The deck, of course, has the same. So now we have removed all of our 10 screws, and now we can gently lift the inner lid and see my fingers. Here is the SD card adapter, which allows you to plug in SD card over here. And we need to gently, very gently, using a thin screwdriver or something like that, to pry this card adapter from the Duet itself, not damaging, ideally, the ribbon cable. And now we slightly lift everything else. To pull the SD card extension from the Duet. So here's everything inside. Pretty clearly labeled, as you may well see. The Duet has SDI inputs on its left, but on the suitcase, all the SDIs are on the back. So we start by removing SDI inputs. If any one of you decides to build your own version of the kit, well, you're welcome. Osee doesn't mind that. So now we remove this, and so you may use this video as an instruction. Power, Ethernet, USB, dual USB connector, and thin HDMI ribbon cables. By the way, HDMI out 2 goes to the display in the lid, so you lose this output for your conventional use. But you may install your own splitter if you need another instance of multiview, for example, and the program output is on the back. So here's one last HDMI and audio connections, mic 1, mic 2, and headphones. And so we essentially have our absolutely standard Osee GoStream Duet with SDIs on the left, a fan grill on the right, and the built-in fan inside. So now I'm showing you how everything is set up inside. The power supply that gets AC power 100 to 240 volts from the external IEC7 connector. And here, contrary to the DEC kit, it's a USB PD power supply. So it's just a cable like the one I use in this video with the GoStream DEC kit, the original kit, and I will show you this cable that I use with a V-mount battery with a USB power supply, or it can be used with a PD power bank. So on one end it's USB Type-C, and on the other end it's a locking DC 5521 or 25 mount. Yeah, it looks like 5525. So the standard DC barrel plug with a locking nut and USB Type-C cable. The rest is pretty obvious. So everything is clearly labeled, and if you want to know how it is labeled, I can answer you in comments. I used a similar printer myself for my other purposes. So all connections that go to the back of the Duet or to its side. This here is the fan, which provides additional cooling, and since everything is covered by these thick, pretty thick, maybe what it is, 1 or 1.25 millimeter of good steel, and it's magnetic. I checked that. So that noisy Duet fan is well covered by this steel plate. And also here we have our power button, general power button. The fan power, you can disable this fan, but it's silent. And headphone output and microphone output. On the DEC kit, it's on the opposite side, and this protrusion is on the right for you. So it's a mirror configuration dictated by the position of the SD card slot on the Duet. On the DEC, it's on the right, and on the Duet it's on the left. So now I think it's time to replace everything back. We're dropping our Duet here and start reconnecting everything. So I'm doing this almost blindfolded. So yeah, the microphone 1 is on the left. Yes, the microphone 2 is on the right, and the headphone out is above them. So the microphone 1 microphone 1 headphones and microphone 2. Microphone 2 input, which is also a line input, is on the back. So here we have HDMI input 1, HDMI input 2, input 3, input 4, output 1, output 2, USB connectors. USB 2 is on the bottom. And yes, indeed, it is on the bottom. Now Ethernet connector, RJ45. And, of course, our power supply. The power supply and its features is what distinguishes official Osee kits from a kit that you may build yourself. The thing is that in official Osee kits, the power options are versatile and redundant. You may power it using a mains power, like 100 volts in Japan, 110 or 120 in the USA, and 220 to 240 in the rest of the world. Plugging in SDI 1, SDI 2, SDI 3, and SDI 4. As you may see, it's not that much of a real estate here inside the suitcase under the Duet and with all these cables, but I think that with some creative approach you may find some room to place things like maybe a Raspberry Pi, maybe some HDMI splitter, maybe something else to make things more convenient to you. And of course, given that we have a fan here, nothing will overheat, even in Central Africa or in Sahara. Now with our SDIs in place, it gets really tricky to put this SD card extension back inside the Duet, but well, I'm lucky this time. So here we have everything in place, and we can now replace all of our screws. It's all done in real time. For those of you who are maybe a bit less proficient with screwdrivers than myself, well, do it at your own pace. And finally, we are replacing our double angles that prevent the duet from dangling inside and messing cables and breaking the monitor. Yeah, here goes. And by the way, a nice touch, a little rubber pad to prevent scratches. So there we have it. And of course, the last thing to do is to plug in our SD card back. So now let us check if everything is connected properly. I think it is. By the way, about power options. Here you see it's labeled DC 11 to 17 volts. So that means that you can plug anything DC that supplies like 1.5 amperes of current and up to V-mount batteries powering with a D-tap, only that they should have the same locking DC barrel connector. Also another feature of both the Duet Kit and the Deck Kit is an additional DC 5-volt output over a Type-C connector. Very handy for powering like Raspberry Pis or maybe small routers or network switches or something like that. Here it's our kettle cord plug or computer cord plug network, 2 USBs, HDMIs and SDIs in the order. So the cable is plugged in. Let's check. Power, fan. Yeah, there we have it. Boot up process. And everything's connected. You see a picture there, and of course I used this Duet Kit already in my own productions. So there we have it. Osee GoStream Duet Kit, almost the same as the Deck Kit, but it's a duet.